Many an ex-convict is rehabilitated, but what do you do with a jail that served its time? Alcatraz, the rock on which the records of many of America's worst criminals have foundered. Alcatraz, for 30 years the most feared and forbidding of United States federal penitentiaries. Alcatraz, in San Francisco Bay, the island prison with a dramatic past but a cloudy future. Scarface Al Capone, George Machine Gun Kelly, Robert the Birdman Stroud. They and 1,000 others took this short boat ride to the island. For most of them, the last taste of freedom for a decade or more. For some, the last taste forever. Only 3 people now live on Alcatraz, the caretaker and his wife, and assistant custodian Bill Doherty. Before the jail closed down 5 years ago this week, nearly 1,200 people lived here at any one time. 300 prisoners and about 900 warders, maintenance and office staff. In fact, this inverse proportion of 3 staff to 1 inmate was one of the inhibiting economic factors in the future of Alcatraz as a federal prison.
Well, you can see how the weeds are coming up here in lots of places here. Right now, there's a bill before Congress to make it a monument of some sort, United Nations and things like that, but a lot of suggestions. But as you can see, we have a very wonderful panoramic view here from where we stand.
That's the Golden Gate up there.
That's the Golden Gate Bridge over there. And as you can see the skyline, we're about 1.5 miles from the mainland. And it covers approximately 22 acres here. Down here we have the quarters for the officials on your left there, and here on the right we have the bachelor's quarters here. The prison cells there, which are 3 stories high, of course the top 2 tiers get the privilege of looking out the windows and to see ships go by once in a while, where the lower tier they couldn't look out the windows, only at themselves across their various cells there.
One of the 350 cells in Alcatraz is still habitable. This one is maintained as a point of interest for visiting congressional and other government parties who, apart from newsmen, are the only visitors allowed on Alcatraz. Even sightseeing cruise boats must stay outside a 200 yards perimeter. Custodian Bill Doherty reckoned the decor of this cell to be typical of how most of them looked during habitation. But the rest of the jail's stark and austere look would seem to belie this. While facts cannot change, memories can, I suppose, even after only 5 years. While there are some things here that just can't be altered or erased. The exercise yard at Alcatraz, a bare concrete enclosure, the high smooth cement wall, the guard catwalk along the top. This is where the prisoners were allowed for short periods on weekends, if the weather allowed. This was as close as they ever came to any feeling of freedom. Alcatraz boasts a record of impregnability no other maximum security jail can match. The records show that no one has ever escaped from here and lived. In December 1937, 2 prisoners broke out of the machine shop and under cover of a thick fog reached the water, but no further trace of them was ever found. Evidence indicates that they perished in the icy waters of San Francisco Bay, where 6-knot rips and occasional sharks add up to 1,000 to 1 chance of survival. The worst attempted outbreak in 1946 caused the death of 3 prisoners and 2 warders, with several guards seriously wounded. And a detachment of Marines had to be called in with hand grenades and gas bombs before the riot was controlled.
All right, here, a while back, we had an official party here inspecting, so the gentleman just closed the door behind him like this. Found themselves locked in here a little longer than what was expected.
He was locked in?
Yeah,
What, then the whole party was
the
locked
whole
in?
party was locked in, so... They
So
went
what
around
happened?
the corner over here in this gun port and just took a...
What are these?
These are swivel gun ports that the guards use in case of a riot where they're out of their cells and they're trying to control them, shooting tear gas shells through or whatever happens to be there. So it was something like this that they pull around. This is the way they finally got out through here with this lock. They sprung the lock till they, and somebody had to push on the other side.
How are you going?
before they get out.
Can you spring it from there?
Yeah, I think I could here, right? Well, it could be done because it was done, but I'd probably have to bend this out of shape a little bit.